Hi, my name is Patience Oshera, and welcome to the Global Insights. Explaining the origins of the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians is difficult, and there are strong opinions on all sides. The conflict between Israel and Palestine is one of the bloodiest and longest running in the world. There are intense feelings on both sides after decades of tragedy and numerous failed bids for lasting peace. Land that has been fought over for centuries has once again seen bloodshed with the attack by Hamas militants at the weekend and Israelis' relentless bombing of the Gaza in response. They established townships and colonies and settlements, trying and creating a new Jewish community in Palestine to add to the established Jewish communities of Sephardic Jews who have been living in Palestine for centuries and centuries. In 1917, the British government itself endorsed the idea of a Jewish national home, not a state, in Palestine with the Balfour Declaration. It followed a secret treaty signed between Britain and France during the First World War, defining their agreed spheres of influence in a post-war partition of the Ottoman Empire. The British are relevant because, in the aftermath of the First World War, control of Palestine was handed over to Britain in the form of a mandate. Amid rivalry over who would claim statehood over Palestine, an Arab revolt between 1936 and 1939 broke out and was violently suppressed by the British. After the Jewish community also revolted against British rule, the mandate for Palestine was handed over to the newly formed United Nations after the Second World War. In 1947, 2 years after the end of the Second World War and the horror of the Holocaust, the UN General Assembly voted to partition Palestine into an Arab state and a Jewish state against significant opposition. In the run-up to the British withdrawal from the area, Jewish and Arab militias clashed, resulting in the loss of Arab Palestinian towns to the Jewish community. In May 1948, Britain withdrew and the armies of various Arab states responded by invading. When hostilities in the First Arab-Israeli War ended in January 1949, the new state of Israel was in possession of 78% of the territory. In 1967, Israel made a preemptive strike against Egypt and Syria, launching the Six-Day War, fearing an imminent attack. The rapid conflict saw Israel capture not just the rest of Mandate Palestine, all of Jerusalem, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip, but also the Golan Heights from Syria and the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt. Despite the later withdrawal of Israeli forces from the Gaza Strip and some degree of self-governance in the West Bank, the two areas remain known as the occupied Palestinian territories to this day. In 1973, Egypt and Syria attacked Israeli positions along the Suez Canal and Golan Heights, beginning the Yom Kippur War. Israel pushed both armies back within 3 weeks, and in 1979, following secret negotiations the year before, Israel and Egypt agreed to a peace treaty. Israel agreed to return the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt in return for normal diplomatic relations with Cairo, among other conditions. This was unpopular with other Arab states, and Egypt was subsequently suspended from the Arab League for 10 years. Amid anger at occupation and what Palestinians felt was repression by Israeli authorities, two Palestinian organizations emerged that would change the region: the Palestine Liberation Organization and Hamas. The Oslo Accords in 1993, negotiated between Israel and the PLO led by Yasser Arafat, saw the creation of the Palestinian National Authority, which was to have some degree of autonomy within the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. In 2005, Israel left the Gaza Strip, which it had captured from Egypt in 1967. Hamas prevailed in 2006 elections in the territory and the following year engaged in an armed conflict with the Palestinian Authority, resulting in the Gaza Strip essentially breaking away. From 2007 to the present day, It's been a series of conflicts between Israel and Gaza, with Israel no longer occupying Gaza but controlling all its frontiers except those in Egypt. Egypt in turn has since imposed a blockade on its side of the Gaza Strip. On 7th October 2023, Hamas launched a devastating attack across the border into Israel. In retaliation, Israel began an intense bombardment of the Gaza Strip. Thousands of people have since been killed, and it is unclear what the lasting effect on the region will be. Israel has been repeatedly criticized by the international community for building more and more settlements in the occupied West Bank. Many countries view this as illegal, but Israel disputes this. The status of Jerusalem, a city that has been fought over for centuries, is likewise a point of bitter contention. Many Palestinians want East Jerusalem, which includes sites sacred to Muslims, Jews, and Christians, to be the capital of their states. Israel claims the whole of Jerusalem as its capital, though this is not widely recognized on the world stage. Around 5.6 million Palestinian refugees, mainly descendants of those who fled in 1948, live in Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. About half of registered refugees remain stateless, according to the Palestinian Foreign Ministry, with many living in crowded camps. Palestinians have long demanded refugees should be allowed to return along with millions of their descendants. But Israel says any resettlement of Palestinian refugees must occur outside of its borders. Share your thoughts on the comment section. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe.